major issues that are currently happening at Chelsea and why they keep dropping points. So in this video, we are going to be looking at 3 factors on why Chelsea cannot keep winning and getting all 3 points and keep sliding down the table. Now, the first one really should not be surprised, and it's this position right here. This is obvious. Robert Sanchez has been a key factor in for Chelsea dropping points multiple matches this season. Just in our last match against Manchester City, running out there, Erling Haaland able to just chip him over that area, which I'm not sure why Robert Sanchez is even making that, because if he just sits in this area, there is a defender that's stopping Haaland, and therefore, yes, if Haaland beats that defender and then scores a goal, it's not all on Robert Sanchez, but him coming out and doing what he did is just mind-boggling. On top of that, we saw in the match before that against Wolves off a corner kick, him just bobble the ball, and therefore they scored. But now, granted, Chelsea did win that match, but this is time and time again, this man has been causing issues, and even when he gets a back pass, he sometimes kicks it out, which other teams win the ball back and score on us, and this is why we've lost points multiple times this season. And the problem with it is that when you have a goalkeeper who is lacking in confidence, your CBs, your defenders, they do not trust the ball as much going to his feet. So instead of playing this back pass and moving the ball around, they sometimes will just kick it up and Chelsea will lose possession. The other team can come back and then hit us on a counterattack, or like I said, just break us down over and over again. Now, this position, obviously Chelsea have multiple players that can play this position. Jorgensen being one of them. Petrovic, we can bring him back from loan. Even Kepa. Yes, we still have him on our stat sheets that we could bring him back from Bournemouth as well. There are multiple players that I think are better than Sanchez. And yes, I understand Enzo Maresca is backing this player currently, but the only reason why I think he's doing it is because he doesn't want to give him any negativity, because if he does stick with this player and keeps dropping in confidence, that does not help anyone, especially at Chelsea. Now, the second thing we need to look at here that Chelsea have been lacking here is this pitch, or this area of the pitch right in these areas. And this is not just looking at Neto, Madueke, it is our wingers as of lately. Our wingers, yes, are very creative, but they are not creating chances for anyone that's up front. So yes, they can do things, move the ball this way, cut inside, but really what happens at the end of everything is that the ball itself never gets into this area to really create a chance. And if it does, maybe there's someone there, and we will talk about this, but really they are just trying to drive the ball each and every time. And typically it goes for a corner kick, and Chelsea really haven't been that lethal on corner kicks. Set pieces, yes, we have a few players that are good at taking set pieces, but still we are not very good aerial wise, and this has been a huge problem as well, because as we know with Chelsea, they definitely do want to play the ball out wide, play it in the Palmer, and then sometimes play it back out wide. But if we're playing it back out wide, you expect these guys then to be creative. So whether it is Neto, Sanchez, Noni Madueke, or anyone else that's playing out on these outside wise, if they can't do what they're supposed to be doing, and again, creating these big chances for our players, and not just for Jackson, but any player that's crashing into the box as well, seeing these players dropping the ball back, it makes a huge difference. Because if Chelsea can convert from these areas with the ball being on the outside and coming back in, this again allows them to really dictate and dominate the game with possession as well, because once they do have the lead, they can then pass the ball around. Now, granted, that being said, when we have had the lead, one of our other issues has been our defense. And yes, our defense too, going back to that first statement with our goalkeeper, is part of the problem too, because when we do have that lead, these guys sometimes cannot hold their own, and therefore again get hit on the counterattack, and that by itself can be a huge issue as well, because when we are doing the inverted players such as Cucurella, this does leave a massive opening in some areas of the pitch. And as we've seen teams exploit this, they get the ball here, they kick it out here to a player, I'm just going to throw a guy there, and then they also then hit us on the counterattack. So again, they play it here, play it over the top, or they have two guys overlapping and play it this way, and therefore again have another guy running down the middle, pass it over, and find the back of the net. So these are key factors that Maresca really does need to look at and possibly change with the squad. Now, obviously, with our defense, we have had injuries, so we are looking at Tosin Chalba right now, who just got back from Crystal Palace. So that is part of one of the reasons why we've been struggling with our defense. But that being said, the other big thing that we really do need to look at is Jackson/Palmer. Now, when I say /Palmer, I'm not putting Palmer under the bus here. What I do mean by this is that we really are only relying on these two guys for scoring goals. And this is a big problem, because when you only have two guys that really are your goal scorers, teams can easily defend that, because all they really need to do is man mark Palmer, making sure that he really doesn't get any opportunities. So again, if Palmer moves in any direction, someone's just following him, and therefore, again, not allowing him to get the shots in these areas, or again, do the 1-2 pass here and again work into the box. So that's one big issue. The other problem, obviously, is Jackson, though, with the amount of chances he does get, because yes, he does get 1 or 2 during a match, and usually he has scuffed them as of lately. The other problem, too, is that sometimes we are not playing him when we should be playing him. So again, if we are springing this counterattack, Jackson typically has the pace to beat players, but most of our players hold on to the ball for that split second too long and try to play Jackson, and he's usually a half yard off, and therefore, again, this is very difficult for a player such as him, because when he does go down, he has scored those chances even before the whistle's been blown. So obviously, he's not lacking confidence on those long 1v1, but he is lacking the aerial capability in these areas. But like I said, we only know that Jackson and really much Palmer are our only guys that are capable of scoring goals. So even if they inside Jackson's head, that shuts down our number 9, and therefore, again, makes it very difficult for Chelsea to do anything, because if our number 9 can't do anything, this whole area now is vacant inside the box, and therefore, again, Chelsea are going to have a difficult time, because if they are trying to shoot the ball from outside the 18, it's, again, keepers are going to block those shots time and time again. Yes, they may get a lucky deflection every now and then. And yes, every now and then we'll have a Reece James hit a free kick and again gives a point against Bournemouth. But that is more luck than skill that's going to happen over time and time. And like I said, if teams understand this, they play a nice low block in this area. It makes it very difficult for Chelsea to break this down. This has been an issue for the past couple of seasons, and we are now seeing that again. Even though we are loading up this attacking with Cucurella in this area, we are not getting the players that we need to in there to score. And the fact that Cucurella has been one of our leading goal scorers in these last handful of matches speaks volume, because being a left back, you shouldn't be our top goal scorer in the last handful of matches. Yes, it's great that he's getting involved in these opportunities, but he should not be scoring this many goals. It should be Jackson. It should be Noni. It should be Neto. It should be Jadon Sancho. It should be Enzo Fernandez. These guys are the guys that should be scoring goals for us, and obviously Palmer as well, but they are not currently, and this is a huge problem for Enzo Maresca. If he can solve these issues, Chelsea definitely have the capability of going back up the table and obviously pushing for Champions League next season. I do want to know what you guys think about this video. Do you think there's other things that we need to look at for Chelsea, and what could possibly change that can make a huge difference? Do we need to bring another player in during this window yet, or do we just need to change tactics? Comment down below. I'll get to those as quickly as possible, and make sure to like and subscribe if you had not. I greatly appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video.